The Spot On Game app uses three layout XML files, life.xml, main.xml, and untouched.xml to represent the different elements that are presented on the screen. Now, in the case of main.xml, which is what we're looking at here at the moment, we have just a couple of GUI components that are on the main layout. We've got three different text views representing various text that we're going to display on the screen, and as you'll see in the bottom left corner here is where we get to display the lives remaining for the current game. Let's go ahead and take a look at this in XML. And let me just scroll back to the top here. So you can see that we're using a relative layout, which means all of the elements are being placed relative to one another or relative to the device itself. And there's a couple of key things that I just want to point out in this XML document. You've certainly already worked with relative layout, text views, and linear layouts in earlier apps. So first of all, the first text view that we have up on the screen, going back over here, is the one that we use to display high score. And so if we look at that in the XML, you can see that's the high score text view, and it's got its color set to black. We've set the text size, and of course we're using a string resource for that text. The next text view that we're defining here is the level text view. So if I go back to the graphical layout again, that's the one displayed over at the far right. It's going to be positioned to the right of the high score, and we're going to indicate that it needs to be placed over on the far right side of the screen. So if you take a look at the text view here, you can see that we're using the layout to right of property, and we specify the ID of the thing that we want to lay out to the right of, in this case the high score text view. We also have gone ahead and said layout align parent right, which means that we want to align this at the right side of the parent layout, the relative layout, which is what's causing that text to appear all the way at the far right side of the screen. The next one we have is another text view for the score, and in this case we said we wanted to lay this one out below the high score text view. So if you take a look here, you can see that score is indeed below high score text view, and in fact it even shows you when you select the score what that setting is right here in the graphical layout view. Going back over to our XML, the last piece is a linear layout, which we've said to align in the layout align parent bottom, set that to true, and what that does automatically is it puts it at the bottom left side of the user interface. Of course we could also put it at the bottom right if we wanted to, and if we did we would have to go back and use the align parent right attribute as part of this element. Now for displaying lives in this linear layout, we have the life.xml file, and this one is just a simple image view that we use to inflate the image view dynamically, and then we have it set up automatically to use the drawable called life, which is the image that represents a life remaining that will display on that image view. So we inflate that image view with its life.png image already attached as the drawable to display on the image view, and therefore we can simply place that item onto the screen without having to do additional configuration of that image view. And then finally we have the untouched.xml, which is just a plain image view, and for this one we didn't give it a drawable right away because you may have seen when we ran the app we have different images that we display randomly. We have a red image and a green image, and we're randomly choosing which one to display each time we create a new spot to place on the screen. So for this untouched.xml, we use it simply to inflate the image view. We then configure that image view in the program code.